Hi, welcome to the first holiday edition of You Don't Know Shit About Cooking. Today we're going to be making a pumpkin roll. It's something you can bring to family gatherings when they ask you to bring a dessert. It looks a lot better than bringing a 2-liter soda or like a plate of cookies you bought at Giant. I will warn you that it's a little bit difficult towards the end, but I think you can do it. Pause. So before you get started with this recipe, you're going to have to thaw two things: the butter and the cream cheese. So the next step is to preheat the oven to about 350 degrees. So the next step of the recipe is to add the eggs. Don't just simply add them, you have to put them in and beat them because the recipe says to. Next you add the sugar. So next you're going to add the pumpkin, and you need 2/3 of this. It really doesn't taste good. And then next you add the lemon juice, which doesn't have the cap off. Hot sauce was worse. 3/4. Math. Next is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And next is the cinnamon. Don't ever eat this stuff raw. Next is ginger. And the next thing that you're going to want to add is the salt. If you had a blender, you'd be putting this in as the blender was going, and that way it could all mix together, but I don't, so I'm left with this, which I have to sit and beat for the next probably half an hour. So let's get started. So next you're going to want to butter down the tray. And I like to do a double dose of stuff, because if the pumpkin roll sticks to the tray, Christmas is ruined. So what you're going to want to do next is add the pumpkin roll mix to the tray. So now that it's finished, we're going to put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. So it's finished now, so let's take it out of the oven. And that should sit for about 10 minutes or so, and while that's cooling off, we're going to make the icing. So the first thing you're going to add for the icing is the cream cheese. And then you're going to want 5 tablespoons of butter. The next two things you're going to want to add are the vanilla. So let's add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And then the final ingredient of the icing is 1 cup of powdered sugar. A mixer for Christmas, Dad, a mixer! About that size of wax paper is good, and put it down. Cut out around the edge of the pumpkin roll. And then this is the really hard part, the part that I warned you about. What you have to do is take it and flip it over onto the wax paper. So let's give it a go. Oh yeah. So now you're going to want to take the icing that we made before and put it down on the pumpkin roll. So now that it's finished, what you're going to want to do is roll it. This is the other really difficult thing. Take the end here no breaks. No breaks in the pumpkin roll. So then, now that it's all rolled up with no breaks in it, we're going to take it and put it in the refrigerator. Now I'm only going to put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes, but if you have the time, put it in there for an hour, leave it overnight, nothing's going to hurt it. The cooled thing out, and then put it on a cutting board. Do you want some pumpkin roll? So now that it's finished, what we're going to do is take it over and put it on this fancy plate. And it's pretty much done. Now you can take it to the family gathering looking like this, or you can cut it up into sections and arrange it on a plate. So I decided to cut them up, and this is what they look like cut up, so they're done. Happy holidays!
Yes. Happy New Year!
Well, thanks for watching today's episode, and remember, just because you go to college doesn't mean you have to eat like shit.